Alrighty everybody, here is a MTH Railking and Lionel Northeastern Caboose comparison. I will be starting off with the MTH models. You're getting a very nicely done caboose with MTH for the price you pay for. And both cabooses are Railking in front of you, and there are some differences. The first one is this caboose in front, the N&W caboose, is a 2016 release. The Richmond, Fredericksburg, and Potomac in the back is a 2007 release. There are quite a few differences between these two, and I will distinguish them as we go along. The first major difference is in the N&W caboose. If you notice the difference between the R&P caboose, the R&P has sprung trucks. The N&W does not. And you're probably wondering, well, why is there an empty little hole right there and there on the trucks? Well, they were supposed to be for these spacer things, and when I took it out of the box the first time, the spacer things fell out, and I decided not to attempt to take the truck apart and reinstall them. So they are going without their spacer. Some major differences between these two not only include the trucks. The silver was painted on by myself once I got it with a silver Sharpie to match the color of the roof. The major difference you'll see on both cabooses will start off with the underside. The box for this caboose is on the opposite side of this caboose. So when I turn this caboose around like this, there is a air tank instead of the box. And then when I flip it around, the air tank is back, and to me it looks like the air tank is way forward, and it is not, as I just checked it for spacing with my finger. And the other difference is if you take a look in the cab, you can see the interior is green. Now, they sell these cabooses from anywhere from $59.99 to $69.99, and MTH makes a very nicely done caboose. And I would recommend this to anyone getting into the hobby. If you're going to start out with something, I recommend getting anything from the Railking line. We are now moving on to the Lionel model, which is the Pierre Marquette A909. This caboose is still in operation today as a part of Steam Railroading Institute's fleet of cabooses. This is one of the cabooses, as well as two Ann Arbor cabooses. This caboose was purchased to go along with my 1225, and I have to say this is a very nicely done caboose. However, there are a couple things that do concern me. Now, there are a few things that concern me about these cabooses. Number one, is the caboose done correctly? If you take a look at the MTH caboose, which I will bring back up in a few minutes, there are 4 windows on the bottom on each side, and there are 2 in the cupola like the one the MTH has. Now, I don't know which one is correct or which one isn't correct. I really don't care. I'm looking for a caboose that would run with my 1225, and this is the best thing to it. So we'll get into more of the detail of what is the differences between these two cabooses. So, to me, looking at both cabooses, there are major differences. I'm going to start off with the ends. So I'm going to turn Pierre Marquette A909 towards you. There is a chain right here, and the back end is more nicely done with a little air valve. And it is done with the air valve on the other side as well. Set that down for a second. Here's the N&W caboose, and it is the same thing as the R&P caboose. Has a red light on the back, but the detail is not there. The other differences I can see comes from the roof. So if you notice on the Lionel Caboose, there's only one stack, and the stack top can move like this. Now, for those who do not know, Lionel originally made smoking cabooses, and they didn't sell that well, and I think the reason why was the smoke units they were putting in them were not holding up to what they were meant to be. So Lionel discontinued putting their smoke units in their cabooses sometime in 2014, I believe. So instead of changing all the tooling around, they just left it like this. A couple other differences are on the MTH Caboose, they have these little stacks at the end for the stoves. That's what I'm assuming they're for. They're for a mini stove. I'm assuming these are for the bigger stoves, the Caboose. There's no antenna on top of the Lionel Caboose. The MTH Caboose does, and there is no red light on the back of the Lionel Caboose. Here is the bottom of the Lionel Caboose. Now there's a couple things I want to point out. I'm going to move the coupler, and I don't know if you can see this or not, where my fingers are, and on this side as well. They included mounting plates for KD couplers. A lot of people are now getting into the swing of changing all of their cars to KD couplers, and I think it's a good move for them. And I know someone who has KD couplers on their Pierre Marquette Caboose. The other thing is you see more detailing on the bottom with all these pipes, but you do not see a box, like the MTH Caboose possesses. To point out the same thing I mentioned earlier about the smoke units, there used to be a switch for the smoke unit there. Now that it's gone, there is a switch down here for on and off for the lights, which you can shut off by just flipping it off. Here we got the N&W Caboose connected to the Pierre Marquette Caboose, and the RF&P Caboose next to the Pierre Marquette Caboose. Now this video is not to shame Lionel or MTH in any form or way. This is to show you a comparison of these three cabooses and what I would recommend. To me, looking for a Pierre Marquette Caboose was not the easiest thing in the world. Lionel was the only one that had one that was for sale. Despite looking at MTH, they had one in their product locator, but I could not find a dealer that had one. So I picked up a Lionel Caboose. To me, the cabooses are the same height, same length, and same width. And personally, I would prefer getting an MTH Caboose before I get a Lionel Caboose because of the height. Same height, same everything. To close off this comparison, I say if you ask me what caboose would I get, it really depends on your taste. For me, I want a caboose that's nicely done and will look great behind a train. And some people just want a caboose to run behind their engine. If I am going to buy a caboose, I want it to look right, I want it to look very nicely done. And the N&W Caboose is for my Line Master Class A, and the RF&P Caboose is for my RF&P Burke, Railking Burke. They look very nice behind the engines. And to me, you get a good price for these cabooses, you're picking up a winner.